Rexx is an interpreted programming language developed at IBM by Mike Cowlishaw. It is a structured, high-level programming language designed for ease of learning and reading. Proprietary and open-source Rexx interpreters exist for a wide range of computing platforms. Compilers exist for IBM mainframe computers. Rexx is widely used as a scripting and macro language, and is often used for processing data and text and generating reports. These similarities with Perl mean that Rexx works well in common gateway interface programming, and it is indeed used for this purpose. Rexx is the primary scripting language in some operating systems, e.g., OS/2, MVS, VM, Amigos, and is also used as an internal macro language in some other software, such as KEDIT, and the ZOC terminal emulator. Additionally, the Rexx language can be used for scripting and macros in any program that uses Windows scripting host ActiveX scripting engines languages if one of the Rexx engines is installed. Rexx is supplied with VM, SP on UP, TSO, version 2 on UP, OS/2, Amiga OS version 2 on UP, PC-DOS, and Windows NT 4.0. Rexx scripts for OS/2 share the file name extension .cmd with other scripting languages, and the first line of the script specifies the interpreter to be used. Rexx macros for Rexx-aware applications use extensions determined by the application. A Rexx script or command is sometimes referred to as an exec in a nod to Rexx's role as a replacement for the older exec command language on CP, CMS, and VM 370 and exec2 command language on VM, SP. Features: Rexx has the following characteristics and features. Simple syntax. The ability to route commands to multiple environments. The ability to support functions, procedures and commands associated with a specific invoking environment. A built-in stack with the ability to interoperate with the host stack if there is one. Small instruction set containing just 24 instructions. Freeform syntax. Case-insensitive tokens, including variable names. Character string basis. Dynamic data typing. No declarations. No reserved keywords, except in local context. No include file facilities. Arbitrary numerical precision. Decimal arithmetic, floating point. A rich selection of built-in functions, especially string and word processing. Automatic storage management. Crash protection. Content addressable data structures. Associative arrays. Straightforward access to system commands and facilities. Simple error handling, and built-in tracing and debugger. Few artificial limitations. Simplified I/O facilities. Unconventional operators. Only partly supports Unix-style command line parameters, except specific implementations. Provides no basic terminal control as part of the language, except specific implementations. Provides no generic way to include functions and subroutines from external libraries, except specific implementations. Rexx has just 23, largely self-evident, instructions with minimal punctuation and formatting requirements. It is essentially an almost free-form language with only one data type, the character string. This philosophy means that all data are visible and debugging and tracing are simplified. Rexx's syntax looks similar to place I, but has fewer notations. This makes it harder to parse but easier to use, except for cases where place I habits may lead to surprises. One of the Rexx design goals was the principle of least astonishment. History. Rexx was designed and first implemented in assembly language as an own-time project between the 20th of March 1979 and mid-1982 by Mike Cowlishaw of IBM, originally as a scripting programming language to replace the languages exec and exec2. It was designed to be a macro or scripting language for any system. As such, Rexx is considered a precursor to TCL and Python. Rexx was also intended by its creator to be a simplified and easier-to-learn version of the Place.I programming language. However, some differences from Place.I may trip up the unwary. It was first described in public at the Share 56 conference in Houston, Texas, in 1981, where customer reaction, championed by Ted Johnston of SLAC, led to it being shipped as an IBM product in 1982. Over the years, IBM included Rexx in almost all of its operating systems, and has made versions available for Novell NetWare, Windows, Java, and Linux. The first non-IBM version was written for PC-DOS by Charles Daney in 1984 fifths. The first compiler version appeared in 1987, written for CMS by London and Woodruff. Other versions have also been developed for Atari, Amigos, Unix, Solaris, DEC, Windows, Windows CE, Pocket PC, DOS, Palm OS, QNX, OS/2, Linux, BIOS, EPOC32, Symbian, Atheos, OpenEVMs, Apple Macintosh, and Mac OS X. The Amiga version of Rexx, called Rx, was included with Amigos 2 onwards and was popular for scripting as well as application control. Many Amiga applications have an Rx port built into them which allows control of the application from Rexx. One single Rexx script could even switch between different Rexx ports in order to control several running applications. In 1990, Kathy Dagger of SLAC organized the first independent Rexx symposium, which led to the forming of the Rexx Language Association. Symposia are held annually. Several freeware versions of Rexx are available. In 1992, the two most widely used open-source ports appeared: Ian Collier's Rexx IMC for Unix and Anders Christensen's Regina for Windows and Unix. Rexx is well known for Windows and Pocket PC platforms, and has been back-ported to VM370 and MVS. OS/2 had a visual development system from Wacom VX Rexx. Another dialect was Vispro Rexx from Hopware. Portable Rexx by Kilowatt and Personal Rexx by Quirkus are two Rexx interpreters designed for MS-DOS and can of course be run under Windows as well, using a command prompt. Since the mid-1990s, two newer variants of Rexx have appeared. Netrex compiles to Java bytecode via Java source code. This has no reserved keywords at all, and uses the Java object model, and is therefore not generally upwards compatible with classic Rexx. Object Rexx, an object-oriented, generally upwards compatible version of Rexx. In 1996, American National Standards Institute published a standard for Rexx. ANSI by 3.274-1996, Information Technology, Programming Language Rexx. More than 24 books on Rexx have been published since 1985. Rexx marked its 25th anniversary on the 20th of March 2004, which was celebrated at the Rexx Language Association's 15th International Rexx Symposium in Böblingen, Germany, in May 2004. On October 12, 2004, IBM announced their plan to release their Object Rexx implementation sources under the Common Public License. Recent releases of Object Rexx contain an ActiveX WSH scripting engine implementing this version of the Rexx language. On February 22, 2005, the first public release of Open Object Rexx was announced. This product contains a WSH scripting engine which allows for programming of the Windows operating system and applications with Rexx in the same fashion in which Visual Basic and Java, J++ are implemented by the default WSH installation and Perl, TCL, Python third-party scripting engines. A command-line Rexx interpreter is also installed with Rexx, and it is also possible to run Rexx script programs from the command line by means of the C-script command invoking the Windows scripting host. Rexx TK, a toolkit for graphics to be used in Rexx programs in the same fashion as TCL. TK is widely available. A Rexxide RxXxt has been developed for Windows. Rxsoc for network communication as well as other add-ons to and implementations of Regina Rexx have been developed, and a Rexx interpreter for the Windows command line is supplied in most resource kits for various versions of Windows and works under all of them as well as MS-DOS. Speaking and capitalization. Originally, the language was called Rexx. The extra X was added to avoid collisions with other products' names. Rexx was originally all uppercase because the mainframe code was uppercase-oriented. The style in those days was to have all caps names, partly because almost all code was still all caps then. For the product it became Rexx, and both editions of Mike Cowlishaw's book use all caps. The expansion to Restructured Extended Executor was used for the system product in 1984. By the 1990s it was largely written Rexx or, with small caps, Rexx. IBM documents use Rexx, and the ANSI standard uses Rexx. Mike Cowlishaw expressed in an email dated 1 August 2012 on the Rexler list his order of preference to be Rexx, Rexx, Rexx.